It is 15 minutes after the hour, and Coach Matt Griffith, the head football coach of the Sylacauga Aggies, joins us this morning. Coach, we kind of start off with a sad note this morning with the passing of Coach Jim Wright.
Yeah, I tell you what, all this, the people think that football is so important. People think people turn into Paul Feinbaum all day long, and everybody's Auburn, Alabama on Saturdays. Everybody will be about high school football tonight. But I'm gonna tell you something. When it comes down to, Jimmy was on our junior high staff. He's got a wife and two kids, and my heart just goes out to them. Our whole coaching staff wants to give our condolences to Jimmy's family. It's tragic, and it can happen to anybody. It started with a skin cancer, and it was about 4 years ago, and he fought a good fight, and he's with the Lord now, and I'm just praying for the strength of his family, and he's got two little kids that's gonna not have their daddy, and it hits home when you have children and things like this happen, but I
let you know that there's more to life than football. Right?
There's a whole lot to life more than football. There surely is.
Well, football on everybody's mind, however, in Sylacauga, 21-7 win over Shelby County last week, and kind of got off to a slow start.
Yeah, we did. We told our kids all week. Shelby County, when they went back to the older offense that they used to run about 2 years ago. That style of play has always given us some trouble. We knew they were a lot bigger than we are up front. We play, and I've said it for 10 years, we play with a smaller kid up front. So when teams are really big, it's difficult sometimes. And it took a half for our kids to adjust. We didn't play well at all offensively the first half. And, the second half, we just went in at halftime, settled our kids down. Said just play your game. We came out and we scored 3 unanswered touchdowns and got the win. But, it wasn't pretty the first half for sure.
Well, sometimes, getting to halftime and just making minor adjustments, you're not changing a whole lot of stuff. You're just reminding the kids, hey, let's do our job and get the win.
Well, especially with the football team we've got this year. I mean, we've got a sophomore quarterback and 2 sophomore running backs. You've got 2 sophomores up front. We're playing a sophomore safety and a sophomore lineman. We've got a lot of young kids and inexperienced kids in a lot of different places. And game experience comes with time, and a lot of it's just settling them down at halftime. You just make them, we widened our splits just a little bit, and we did a couple of different things offensively. But other than that, it was just, hey, settle down and play and quit pressing. And, those are the big worries tonight. I mean, this is probably one of the biggest ball games our kids have played in. We're 6-1. They're 4-3, but they've lost to 3 7-1 football teams. So these are 2 good, well-coached football teams playing in a high school game, and it's what it's all about.
Clay Central comes to town tonight. The Volunteers 4-3, 3-1 in region. Sylacauga 6-1 and 3-1 in region. Both teams are playoff bound, but you mentioned it. This game is a seeding matchup, and very, very, very good volunteer football team.
Sure, very good, very talented. They'll line up in the eye, but they'll line up in the wishbone. They're running about 5 or 6 different style backs in there. They've got a lot of backs, got a lot of skill. They're big up front, well coached defensively. And it's like I told everybody, you don't take an 11 to 12 win school at Clay and 11 and 12 win school at Lineville and combine it and not have a lot of talent. And they've got it. And they've got a good coaching staff. Chris Herring and his job, they do a great job. I talked to Chris yesterday. And, we expect a hard-fought, hard-hitting, well-coached football team on both sides of the ball, and it's going to come down. It's going to take 4 quarters to win the football game.
This game tonight will have a lot of bearing on several different fronts. Sylacauga, as you mentioned, is a young football team. As big a game as they've played in, probably a lot of them. And how do you keep them focused and getting set for a huge crowd tonight? A lot of media attention for this matchup for a young football team, and both teams headed to the playoffs. But a big win tonight for Sylacauga will go a long way.
Sure. I mean, we've told everybody, a win tonight, and as long as Tallahassee takes care of business against Beauregard, we're 2. I mean, we finished 2 in the region, and you're guaranteed a home playoff game. And then the next week you're playing for a region championship. I don't think anybody realizes that region play did not start till 2000. It was area play before then. We've never won a region championship at this school. We've won a lot of area championships, but we've never won a region championship. And, we preach that to our kids. We want to have an opportunity, and we've had a couple since I've been here. We never could quite get past Briarwood. That was a stickler. So, but with the young team, we've told them just play, don't press. Don't think about that kind of stuff. Just know your assignments and everybody play and just let the game unfold the way it's supposed to.
You don't make big changes this late in the season. You're 6-1, and Clay Central is 4-3. But what does Sylacauga really need to do tonight to put themselves in a position to get that region win?
Well, the biggest thing we've got to do is we've watched them on film. They've got enough skilled kids. When they get in a bind, they're going to line up in two tight ends wishbone, and they don't care if you know what you're doing. They're going to come at you. They're going to run ISOs, and sweeps. We've got to be able to stop that.
Physical football.
It's going to be physical football. You've got to make them punt. And then offensively, we've got to score points. I mean, it doesn't got to be a ton of points, but you've got to be able to move the football consistently and score some points, and then keep their offense off the field. They got a lot of weapons. I mean, they really do. They've got a lot of backs that can break it at any time. They got a number 9 receiver that's just out jumping everybody. He reminds me of number 10 for Talladega. He's just a very talented kid. And, we've got to be able to stop them, because if you can't, they're not going to stop what they're doing. They're going to continue to hammer you. They'll never lose their patience. They'll never try to, they're just coming at you. So we've got to be able to stop them.
Field position key tonight.
Absolutely. And we're hoping, kicking game, they've got a good kicker. We've got a good kicking game. Field position and turnovers will be critical.
Sylacauga has had outstanding running attack this season. That's going to be important tonight, too.
It is. And, Jackson's got to be able to throw the ball. I mean, we threw the ball a little bit better in the second half against Shelby County. He's getting a little more comfortable with that. It's still going to be the short, quick, easy passes for him. But we've got to be able to do that to take some heat off Alex. And because, by the time you get to game 5, 6, and 7, people are going to key on your best running back. And Shelby County did a good job. He still had 133 yards, but they were 133 tough yards. And but it allowed Jackson Walker to have 117 yards rushing because they're keying so much on Alex. And, we're trying to give it to our tailback a little bit more. Kevion Ross, who's just a sophomore, who was a move-in this summer. We're just trying to do some different things there. But other than that, you've got to run what brought you to the dance. And those are the things that we'll do tonight. And if we have to move to something else, we will. But they've got to stop us too.
Sylacauga defensively has had some guys to step up and make some big plays so far this season.
Absolutely. Now, I'm going to tell you what, Jacob Daniel at linebacker against Shelby County Friday night, we call that was his Sweet 16 coming out party, I think. I mean, he really emerged as a very good linebacker. And instead of grabbing and maybe chasing guys down, he was sticking it up in the hole and hitting people, and he's going to have to do that tonight. Mason Owen and Isaiah Brown's got to play well, and Stephen Strickland, who's had a great season, has played well all year. We're going to have to get great play out of our linebackers.
People who follow Sylacauga football, they expect Sylacauga to do well every year.
Sure.
But this game tonight is a pivotal game, and expecting a huge crowd at the stadium, maybe the biggest crowd of the year. Yeah,
I mean, and because it's Miss SHS, which is a little different for us. I've got myself and Coach Rich. We're going to have to go through warm-ups and then immediately escort both our daughters, they're seniors in Miss SHS.
Which is a good thing.
It's a great thing, but it breaks routine, and I don't think I've ever not been inside to talk to our kids before we come out. It's not going to be able to happen, but sometimes family overrides that just a little bit, so it's going to be a little different for us. I think it's not just because it's a region game. This is a game that these two communities have wanted since the schools combined. They're 35 minutes down the road. We've told our kids all week, Clay is chomping at the bit to play you because it gives them 5A legitimacy. They're still considered Clay in 3A. You know, if they can beat a 5A Sylacauga who's had 7 straight winning seasons, it gives them legitimacy. So, you know, they're coming full force. It is a big ball game.
Yeah. Promises to be a beautiful night for football as well. Kick at 7 o'clock tonight at Legion Stadium in Sylacauga. Coach, thanks for being with us this morning. Look forward to seeing you tonight.
All right, thanks for having me.
Matt Griffith, the head football coach of the Sylacauga Aggies, our guest. The Aggies host Central